Hey, you're listening to the Urban Sports Scenes Washington Capitals LA Kings recap show. Last night, the Capitals defeated the Kings 2-1. Alexander Ovechkin scored his 903rd career goal. Oh, Ovi is doing it. Even at this age, he's doing it. Spectacular. I'm Wole, and I'm joined by former WNST's Capitals reporter Ed Frankovic. What is going on, Ed?
Hey, Wale, good to talk to you. It's been a while.
Huh?
But hey, we got a lot of football going on. I know with the Ravens and the Commanders. Unfortunately, things have gone bad for the Commanders, but the Ravens seem to be turning around despite
Oh, there.
a very wonky offensive line.
Yes, the Ravens are turning up. You are right. It's amazing once you get your leader, how things can go upwards. Missing Lamar and all of a sudden getting Lamar back, and you see how this team is playing. They're playing really good football. Hopefully, something can happen with the Caps. They can turn around and get some momentum as well. That would be kind of dope. But before we talk about this Caps game, and also what's going on with the Caps this season, we got to knock out some particulars. They subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Make sure you subscribe to the Urban Sports Scene YouTube channel. If you're in the YouTube chat, we accept super chats. Super chats help us support our show. Each super chat will be prioritized over all comments in the chat. Also, make sure you check out our website, which is www.urbansportscene.com. Don't forget to tweet us at Urban Sports Scene. Hit us up on IG and TikTok at Urban Sports Scene, and also like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. And also join our Urban Sports Scene Facebook group. Search Urban Sports Scene, sports bloggers, sports podcasters, and sports debates. All right, and I mentioned it. Ovechkin, his 903rd career goal. And it was also like the winning goal. Basically, that's the go ahead goal as well. He also set a new NHL record for goals at a single venue. From your perspective, how significant is this milestone for both Ov and the franchise?
Well, it's huge, right? I mean, Ovi keeps adding to his legacy with this, right? He has the most game winners in NHL history and
Mm-hmm.
continues to build on that. Um, he's 40 years old. He doesn't have the speed, but he's
Mm-hmm.
finding ways to get to the net and score goals. He's only got 6, but the Capitals have a lot of issues right now. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But
Mm-hmm.
he's 40 years old. He's on pace for 26 goals. But
Which is good.
Ovi, he'll get a hot streak and he'll
Yeah.
find a way to get over 30. And we'll see if he can find a fountain of youth here and maybe hit 40. Because I'm telling you, the Caps are going to need it. They're really struggling to
Mm-hmm.
score so far in these first 19 games, Wale.
Yeah, I mean, if he's 40 to get 30 goals, being 40 years old, I think that's an accomplishment.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, what he did the last couple of years, and he broke his leg and missed 6 weeks last year and still went at
Yeah.
50. Just
Hmm.
incredible. Um, but Father Time has a way of catching up, so he's got
Of
to.
course. Of course, I agree. I just feel like and I wanted to ask you this because his goal in this game was close to the net, and you talked
Yes.
about that last year. They weren't doing in the playoffs. They weren't really having Obi around the net like that, crashing net, getting those like those easy goals, right? So was there a change this season in terms of that, or was that just something that just happened last night?
No, he's had a few in close.
Okay,
I know at least 2 of his 6 were in close. One's
yeah,
like an empty net, but
hmm
I think they're going to try and get him to the net more, right? Because
hmm
he's either going to score on the power play from his office, and teams are trying to take that away.
yeah,
So he's going to the net because he's
hmm
not going to beat you with speed anymore at 40. So,
hmm
but he can beat you with power because he's still stronger than just about everybody. So,
yeah.
I think the Capitals would be wise to find ways to get him to the net with pucks going there because he's so strong. He's going to win the battles.
Yeah, and he's so precise when he's down there. You know what I mean? Even that goal that he scored, he's just some people just got it, like right when a
He
knack for
does.
scoring goals, and some people like when we do the show sometimes, and some guys whiff on on an easy shot. It's like that's not like Ovi's thing. Like if Ovi got daylight, it's pretty much going in.
Greatest goal scorer ever. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a reason he has this many goals because he is the greatest goal scorer ever.
Totally agree. So how did in terms so Matt Roy had the first goal early in the first period. How did that to you set the tone for what we saw last night?
I thought the Capitals came out really well.
Hmm.
They dominated the first period. They raced to that 2-0 lead,
Yeah.
which they needed to do. They've lost. I think they had a stretch where they lost 8 of 10 games. Just they got off to the 6-2 start really hot,
Mm-hmm.
And Pierre-Luc Dubois got hurt, and he's out 4 months. And we could talk about the impacts of that in a little bit, but that certainly has hurt them. As you and I talked in the playoffs last year, Carolina beat them up the middle of the ice. They were
Yeah.
just better up the middle of the ice, and Strome and PLD were the top two centers, and they were just outmatched by what Carolina had. And now you take PLD out of the lineup, you're basically you've got Strome and you've got Dowd, and they're piecemeal in the rest. They're trying Connor McMichael. Henry Lapierre was in the minors last year, and I don't know that he can be. Somebody's got to be second line center. I think they're going to try and just piecemeal this together until
Mm-hmm.
they can get to the trade deadline and maybe find somebody. But it's going to be an uphill climb, Wole. So they're going to have to win a lot of 2-1, 3-2 games because they're going to struggle to score goals.
Why is the loss of Dubois so impactful, and why is it hindering this team?
Well, here's the thing. Pierre-Luc Dubois is their best two-way forward. Nick Dowd's
Mm-hmm.
really good defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Strome's really good offensively. But Carberry likes to put him against the best line of the other team.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to play 18 to 20 minutes that way. PLD's taking 20 minutes of the game. So now you've got 40 minutes that you can allocate among the other three centers. Strome was typically playing 17 or 18, and Dowd was probably playing 14. So then
Mm-hmm.
you only got to put somebody out there for 8 or 9, right? Now you've
Mm-hmm.
taken a guy 20 minutes a game who's playing against the other team's best line to shut him down, right? And he's not there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have anybody else that can really do it. Dow could do the defensive part, but now you're losing that offensive part. Part of shutting a top line down is having that offensive side too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Best defense is a good offense, as they say, right?
Facts.
So
So true.
it's
That is
a
very true.
it's a huge loss losing PLD.
So looking at going back to the game, obviously, I love talking about goaltending. Charlie Lindgren turned away 30 shots. 30 shots. What impressed you the most about his play and his ability to hold the lead late?
Well, Charlie just competes, and the thing I like about it is he hadn't played in a week and a half, right?
Mm-hmm.
They went Logan Thompson 3 games in a row because they had spacing between games. So clearly Logan's number one, and he's
Yeah.
one of the best goalies in the league. And I hope Team Canada picks him for the Olympics because I think he certainly deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't keep going one guy. And
Yeah.
the great thing about Lindgren is he may not have played for 10 days, but he's such a veteran, knows what to do, and he got right in there and he competed, right? And the Kings were on the Caps for the last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You look at the shot totals, the Caps were sitting back a bit, and the Kings were coming. The Kings got some great players. Kopitar, they got Adrian Kempe, who they just signed to an 8-year deal. The
Mm-hmm.
Kings are a really solid team, and Chucky just did what he had to do. The Capitals are good defending. They're a good
Mm-hmm.
defending team. Carberry's system, they're good at, for the most part, protecting leads. So they buckled down, and again, goaltending, 30 out of 31 saves. There's your number one star, your goalie, right there.
Yeah, definitely. So for this game with the Caps, how could this game possibly? Well, let me before I go to that question, let me go to this one. The Caps, all right. So they kept, the Caps kept Los Angeles from generating a lot of high danger opportunities earlier in the game. Like you mentioned, later in the game, they got kind of they got going. What stood out to you about the Capitals defense and the defensive commitment in this game? Rather than do you feel like it was just the goaltending, or do you feel like some of the defense played a part in it as well?
No, the defense did. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the system is very good. Carberry is
Mm-hmm.
very good. And the Cat, let's be honest, the Cavs blue line is really strong. I mean, in the playoffs last year, they didn't have Ferravari because he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But you're looking at a top four of, Carlson, Ferravari, Chikrin, and then you have Roy, and then then you have what Sandine and um either Chisholm or they go Van Riemsdyk. I mean, they just is really deep on the blue line. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Matt Roy is so good defensively. He's a great shot blocker. Chikrin can play both ends. Chikrin, I don't know whether you could play for USA or Canada because I think he
Mm-hmm.
was born in USA, but his dad Jeff, who played in the NHL for the Flyers and the Kings, was Canadian. I mean, one of those Olympic teams should take that guy because that guy is
Mm-hmm.
a stud on the back end. He's the Caps' number one D in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So the Capitals' defense is strong, and then the forward, you got a guy like Nick Dowd played 19 and a half minutes. Carberry just rode him because he's so strong defensively. Um, the Caps know how to. Tom Wilson's strong defensively. Protus is really good two-way. So I think the Caps team defense was great, and then the goaltending. Chucky just didn't give them any really opportunities to get an easy goal.
So, all right, now going to the outcome of this game, we saw some good things, obviously, in terms of good, solid defense, good goals, goaltending. Ovi with a goal. How can this victory propel this Cap for the next stretch of games? Could propel them for like a winning streak? How can this victory propel this team for a winning streak?
Well, I think this has got to be the formula because they went
Mm-hmm.
on the road and they got in a few shootouts, and they're
Yeah.
just not built for shootouts, Wale. So
Mm-hmm.
they gotta stick to the system, right? They got a high flying team coming in tomorrow night in Edmonton. Edmonton's really struggling. McDavid's not off to a hot start.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Nugent Hopkins, one of their really good players, is hurt. So they still have McDavid and Draisaitl, and they're strong on Ekholm and Bouchard. So Bouchard's an offensive defenseman. Edmonton's going to want to play a skating game, so the Capitals are going to have to kind of lock that down. And then the Capitals got to go right on the next road the next night to Montreal and play the Canadiens, who the good young team. They played the playoffs last year. They've
Yeah.
had some goaltending issues, but they're a high scoring team. So I think the Capitals are playing two high scoring teams. They got to break the blueprint out that they had last night against the Kings these next couple games, and they're just going to have to ride that blueprint until they can figure out how they can maybe improve their scoring, find that guy who can be that second center that can play both ways and generate some offense.
The Cap started the season off so well. I look like it looked real promising initially, and it's still early. So I'm not gonna act like they can't turn it around. But what has been like the main issue of why like they've had this rough patch over the last semi games?
Well, I think the biggest thing is second line center, right? You got
Mm-hmm.
to have centers in this league. It's the most important position, and that injury just really puts them at a disadvantage, especially when they're on the road,
Mm-hmm.
because Carberry doesn't have the matchups. And when he's on the road, he can either go PLD or Nick Dowd out there, put them a lot on the road. But with PLD out, he's really only got one defensive center, so the other coach can really take advantage of him on the road. And if he sees Dowd out there, he won't throw his top line out there. He'll throw him against another line the Capitals have out there, right? So that's why I think you saw the goals against go up on the road, because Carberry couldn't, play the matchups to his favor like he can at home.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Caps are really going to have battle to make the playoffs. I mean, if you look at the
Mm.
East, there's nobody really below 500, right? The
Yeah.
Capitals are sitting at 9-8-2, and they're near the bottom of the conference. Now, some injuries are taking hold. The Devils got off to a fast start, but their best players hurt for 6 to 8 weeks, and Jack Hughes. The Bruins just lost Charlie McAvoy probably for a while. He took a puck to the face.
Mm-hmm.
So injuries are going to be telling. The
Mm-hmm.
Capitals have their injury. They got it early. The key is adjusting to it, right? I think Carberry and the staff are trying to figure out who's going to be the guy. Is it going to be Connor McMichael? Is it going to be the new guy, Sordiff? Is he going to play more center? Is Lapierre going to step up? Is Ryan Leonard going to take that next step, right,
Okay.
that we're looking
Mm-hmm.
for?
Mm-hmm.
Those four guys have got to find a Protus has got to get his offense going again. He gets a lot from PLD, so he's got to figure out how to play with a new center. So there's the 5 or 6 guys have got to find a way to make up the slack that they lost with PLD going out of the lineup.
Who for you? Who has to step up the most though? Out of those guys you mentioned, who has to step up to and fill the void the most?
Probably McMichael. I mean, he's
Okay.
the most logical, right? It's time
Mhm.
for him to be a top 6,
Yeah,
right, in
he's
his
so he's such a
career at
good
this
skater
point.
too. He's such a good
Yeah,
skater.
I think he's got to be one of the guys. He's got to probably play center.
Hmm.
Um, Protus has got to get hot again, right? He's got to find a way to be that guy that was in the top 5 of even strength scoring for the last year, and he's tailed off.
Hmm.
And then you're going to have to see Lapierre and Leonard, young guys, have to take a leap.
Hmm. I actually liked Leonard's start to the season. I felt like he played a little. He had a couple of goals. Because remember we had when we did the open night show, we were saying that it would be good for him to get a couple of like goals to raise his confidence, and I felt like it was starting to happen for him. He was close to scoring a goal last night, I believe. He was close, just missed it. But he's a kid I like. I like him. I think he has a lot of potential.
He does. And he needs to mature physically
Hmm.
and kind of learn the spots on the ice to get those goals, right? Where to
Mm-hmm.
be, right? I think it's a learning process. Um, they're not going to take them out of the lineup because they're short bodies, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
hopefully, what we see is as the season goes on, he uh, he makes those leaps, right? The only thing I'm worried about is he's never played 82 games, right? Because he
Yeah.
played in college and they play a
Mm-hmm.
lot less games. He came up late in the year, so it's going to be interesting to watch the how much he improves from the game side while not wearing himself down so that he's worthless in March and April, right? In May.
Mm-hmm. What do you think he needs? Like, what if you had to look for him to have a successful year, or yeah, for a successful year? How many goals do you think he needs to have?
I'd love to see him get 20, right? I
Okay.
mean, I may be reaching a bit, but if he
Mm-hmm.
can somehow find a way to get 20, that's big, right? In his
Mm-hmm.
first full year in the NHL.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I mean, it definitely takes a lot of pressure off like Ovi and a lot of the other guys. So in terms of these remain these stretching games, I would say five games, right? These next 5 games. What do you think the Caps record? What would you like the Caps record to be going to these next 5 games?
Well, it'd be nice if they get 6 of 10 points, right? At
Mm-hmm.
least 6 of 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to be at a 60% clip basically the rest of the way out to make the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
They're sitting at nine. They're sitting at 19 points.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, sorry, 20 points through 19 games.
Mm-hmm.
So you figure you multiply that by 4. That's 80 points through 76 games.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not enough. You need about 95 to make the playoffs, right? So um, with 62 games left, they've got to get what did I say? They got to get 75 points.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to basically win. Get 6 of 10 every 5 games. You got to get 6 points. Is basically what you got to do. So it's gonna be a battle because the East is pretty level set, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of dominant teams. I mean, that was a big win in Carolina last week, right? And
Yeah.
that again, that was the goaltending, Logan Thompson, and they
Mm-hmm.
played that structured game. But then they go and they get lit up in they lost. Actually, they think they lost 3-1 in Tampa. That was more of a. So I think they found what the formula is, right? What
Yeah.
they won a close game in Carolina, 4-1, and they played. They got the lead and
They
kind of
lost
closed
three.
them
They
off.
lost. They lost. Yeah, four. They like you said. They beat the Carolina 4-1. Then they lost to the Panthers 3-6.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that game was in there. That's right. That's
Yeah, 3-6.
that's the game where they got behind quick and
Yeah,
they can't play a shootout game, right? And
yeah,
they have to have a lead or be within one with what they have right now. And they get in one of those games where they're down a couple goals. They just don't have the firepower to get back in it, right? So
yeah,
they've got to play the game they played against the Lightning, even though they lost.
yeah. That
They
was
got
a
to
good
play the
game.
game they
Yeah,
played against Carolina. They got to play the game they played last night, right?
yeah,
It's gonna be a lot of 2-1, 3-2. That's what
yeah,
it's going to have to be, right? And they're going to have to
yeah.
ride that goaltending and the defense because that's where the strength of the team is right now.
Yeah, like the Devils too, 3-2 in a shootout.
Yeah,
Yeah, yep, you're right.
that's right.
Uh,
They lost in the shootout. They got down 2-0,
yeah,
managed to come back, but they really needed to win that game because the Devils are in first.
yeah. So the 5 games that I was referring to, and Ed already mentioned a couple of them. The Oilers, which is tomorrow. The Canadians, which is on Thursday. Lightning on Saturday. Blue Jackets on Monday, and the Jets on uh, Thanksgiving Eve. So yeah, those are games that they're tough games. They're going to be tough games. Canadians are very, I was impressed with the Canadians last year. You just talked about them as well.
Yeah, they're
Um,
they're they're off to good. They can score
yeah.
goals. They
hmm
can
They
score.
skate well. They skate so well. They skate so well. So yeah, that's definitely gonna be a tough one. So for you, so basically what you're saying is the Caps gonna have to run basically the Caps are gonna have to play old school Caps hockey in a way. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, hey, it's going to be
Hmm.
like back in the days.
Yeah.
Rod Langway, Scott Stevens, Kelly Johansson, Kevin
Dale
Hunt playing
Hunter,
defense.
Dale
Yeah,
Hunter,
Dale Hunter.
company. Yep.
They just don't have the offense right now, right? And
Hmm.
Montreal is a team that can score, but they're a team that'll give up goals, right? They have
Yeah.
goaltending. The Capitals have really good goaltending, though.
Yeah.
Both of these guys. So Logan's going to go against Edmonton, and then Lindgren will go Thursday against Montreal, right? So
Hmm.
give your goalies play well. Don't give up, a lot of chances, right? Don't give up the high
Mm-hmm.
danger chances that you mentioned early, right? Don't give up odd man rushes, 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s. Play that structure. Stay out of the box because
Mm.
the Caps are a good team 5-on-5.
Yeah.
And just you're gonna have to just plug away. It's gonna be grind. It's gonna be a grind. So they're in a tough spot with this injury to PLD for 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Chris Patrick is already working the phones trying to do something. But you don't have a lot of assets right now, and everybody right now in the East thinks they can make the playoffs, so nobody's going
Yeah.
to be dumping. I think you're going to see some teams in the West, like Calgary, is not making the playoffs. They're going to be
Mm-hmm.
looking to move guys. So there's going to be there'll be players available, but probably not till January or February.
Is there a particular player that you have your eye on for the Caps that do you think that maybe they can kind of pull the trigger on and actually get without like losing a bunch of assets?
Yeah, I mean a guy like and I have to look into his contract and how much if he's
Mm-hmm.
close to being a free agent. But a guy like Michael Backlund from Calgary, he's
Mm-hmm.
older in his later in his career, but he's a good center. He's a good
Mm-hmm.
second line center. He could come in and really help them. And Calgary's in rebuild mode, no
Okay.
doubt. They're looking to rebuild. They're going to be one of the best chances to get the top pick in the lottery. So he's the type of guy I would look for. The league is changing, right? It's I don't know if you looked at the scoring race, but Connor Bedard and Celebrini so Connor Bedard from the Blackhawks and
Blackhawks, yeah.
Celebrini from San Jose, they were leading the league in scoring at one point. McKinnon's is a stud; he's up there too.
Mm-hmm.
But it reminds me Celebrini and Bedard remind me of Ovi and Crosby type. Two number
Oh,
one
that's
picks
awesome.
coming, two
Yeah.
high draft picks. So Chicago and San Jose are on the way up, where there's teams dropping out west that you can look for. I think Calgary will be a team looking to dump because they want to rebuild and get a top pick and build around a franchise player. They don't have one right now.
Mm. Well, hopefully the Cats will turn around. I'm hoping for. I mean, they're still over 500, so there is hope. But hopefully, again, they can have more outings like they did last night. Because they did beat a tough King squad, so that should get them some confidence, right, going into the game against the Oilers. So,
Yeah, I mean they played the right way. Playing
yeah,
the right way is going to be so important.
yeah. So hopefully, and I feel like when you have a good goaltender, a good goalie. It makes it easier to play that type of way. To be honest with you, there's more incentive to play that type of way because you don't
Yes.
want to be a guy, you don't want to be a defenseman or a player that gives up a easy situation to a goaltender who's playing his butt off.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
The Caps' strength clearly in net and on the blue line, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's what they're going to have to ride.
Well, Ed, man, I appreciate you for doing this. This has been fun as always, and folks who are listening and watching, appreciate y'all for pulling up. Anyway, you've been listening to the Urban Sports Thing for ages. A Yedig Deuces. We are out. Peace.